It's the fourth round of the Players' Cup with Dragapult VMAX. Welcome back, everyone, to more from the Sable Eyes. I'm Mitch, and today, oh my goodness, I stuffed that up right at the start, but I'm going to keep going. It's persistence, right? It's what we've got to do now that we're in losers bracket of the Players' Cup. Last round, fortunately, didn't make it through, so unfortunately we are in the losers bracket now. We're going to need to win every set from here on out. And we'll see how we go. In round 4 of the Players' Cup, we're going up against PIKA again. So hopefully no more mistakes like last round, and we can cruise on through in losers bracket. What we'll do is we'll take a look at the game in just a second, but if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. That would make me very, very happy, as well as leaving a like if you like this type of content. If you like it, then we know to do more of it. So give it a like, it only takes a second, it's free, and you can always unlike it or unsubscribe if you like. So we'll chuck on the game now, we'll see how we go. Hopefully I don't stumble through it like this when I'm actually recording the commentary. Here we go, commentary time. Whilst we're loading up, I just wanted to ask the question, how do you feel about the new kind of intro screen border stuff? We've been doing some gradual upgrades here. You'll see a couple more changes over the next few weeks and months, and we'll see how we go. This is an acceptable hand for a Dragapult game. We've got ourselves Energy and Dragapult, but we are going second. Chook and cheese, our opponent is going to go first. So we'll see if we can't manage to snag a victory here. It's always awkward, though, playing Dragapult when you do go second. There's obviously that idea that you're going to be one attachment behind for the entire game. But our opponent playing down 2 Jirachi is really big for us. I like that a lot. Hopefully we can get ourselves a couple of easy knockouts with that 50 damage. And if we can snag 1 or 2 here or there, it might be easier for us to go on to win this game. Obviously, if we do hit into our opponent's PIKA before they hit into us, then we should probably be okay. That's what these matchups tend to come down to. Can you hit into your opponent before they hit into you? They're going for a quick ball here. I'll try and find, presumably, a Pikachu Zekrom, unless, of course, they've got a tag call or something like that in their hand. If they have that card, then they might instead choose to grab something like a Dedenne here. But no, they've got Pikachu and Zekrom, so they'll throw that down. Pretty much anything going onto this PIKA now is a good thing. 1 energy is fine, and there's a pass. So that's a perfectly acceptable turn for a PIKA deck. I don't think anyone would be upset with that. I'm just going to grab 1 energy here with the spinner. And then that Acrobike is very interesting, going into 2 Marnies here. Now I really need to make a choice. What is the best thing to do? I get the Giratina into the bin. I might grab a Jirachi of my own. Do I research? Do I Marnie? Do I Dedenne? I've got that Dragapult VMAX in hand. I think it's worth going for the Marnie here. Just to slow our opponent down. I managed to find the Escape Board as well. Get that Dragapult out of the active. And a Mysterious Treasure off of Jirachi. So this hand now starting to look pretty solid. If our opponent does full blitz, then that's okay. They'll take a knockout on a Jirachi, and we can effectively leave our opponent with 7 prizes to take. So I like that a lot. Depends, though, on what happens here for our opponent. If they can get out of the Jirachi and into a PIKA to start attacking this turn, then that would be preferable for them. But chances are, in order to do that, they're going to need to use Tag Call for Guzmahala. They're actually not going for it here. Instead, grabbing another PIKA and a Raichu. They must already have a supporter in hand, or they're using the Tag Call to thin for the Jirachi. If they attack this turn into the Jirachi, I'm feeling good. If they don't attack at all, I'm feeling excellent. Although the Guzmahala here will get them, of course, the Speed Lightning Energy. They'll get the Thunder Mountain, and presumably they'll get an Escape Board as well. Although, to be fair, I didn't see one there. It could potentially have been just because I wasn't paying attention at the time. They're going for Tapu Koko now, so this will mean that they won't actually need to put down the stadium at all, which would be excellent for them, and use it later to try and get an attack off down the line. And Dance of the Ancients for Tapu Koko is going to set up 1 PIKA and give a second PIKA an opportunity to set up for a Tag Bolt GX for 6 energy, which would be pretty impressive. Stellar Wish from our opponent here. If they do manage to get the full blitz off, like I said, into the Dragapult VMAX, then that would be very impressive. No way to realistically do that now. It's actually got the Escape Board there, so they will retreat into the PIKA, you would think, and then full blitz. And this is perfect for us, because we get the first half hit onto their 3 prize Pokemon. So no matter where they accelerate this energy to, I'm feeling pretty comfortable, because there's no chance that our opponent is going to be able to one-shot our VMAX next turn, unless something very, very impressive happens. There's the full blitz, they'll take the knockout, and then presumably they'll put 3 onto the bench. They might go aggressively. No, they'll choose to play it safe. We've got the Dragapult VMAX and a Research, and we just managed to top deck into Energy as well, so we can attach that. We might choose to reset Stamp here. Our opponent obviously has that Raichu in hand. I don't really know what else they've got, but I may as well Stamp them. They tend to sit on hands that they like, these PIKA decks, and so I don't want them to have access to that stuff. I'll play down the Dragapult V. That's a bit of a risk. If I do get gusted up next turn, then I could be in a bit of trouble. I'm going to presume that that's not going to happen. And this hand doesn't really open up a huge amount of possibilities for me. They've obviously still got Thunder Mountain, so just an attachment from the benched PIKA is going to be enough. Choose to hold on to the Escape Board here instead of attaching it to Jirachi. Probably could have chosen to do that. And then I'm going to place 20 down onto the Jirachi and 30 onto the PIKA and try and spread that damage out so that there's the maximum chance of us taking some knockouts in this game. On the plus side, we've got the PIKA in the active on 130, but that is not nearly as powerful a turn as I would have liked. There is every chance that PIKA just retreats and takes a prize on the Dragapult V this turn. So we will see if that is possible for them. They found the Raichu and Raichu yet again. 2 switch down though, and they don't yet have access to Zeraora, so this could be good. A Mallow and Lana, that is horrific bad news for me here. Mallow and Lana, as most of us know, is a card that cripples Dragapult, and now all of that hard work that has been put in is pretty much wasted. You would have to think that from here it would be very, very difficult for me to go on to win this game, because now not only do I need to take 6 full prizes, but my opponent's board is effectively cleared of damage. They're going into a PIKA here again, and they will full blitz, and this is a very, very worrying situation. I mean, at least now I have an opportunity to evolve into the Dragapult VMAX, attach an energy, so it's not all lost, but it is going to be quite tough, and that Raichu is getting quite powered up as well, so we'll see what we can do here. Hopefully something works out for us. We'll get rid of this Mr. Mime with a quick ball and grab a Galarian Zigzagoon. We'll try and place as many damage counters this turn as we can, because we may not get another chance again. So we'll place some onto the active. I want to get this as close to being knocked out as possible. That's fantastic. We got the Dragapult VMAX. We lose the Spinner, but at least it's not an energy. The Spinner obviously would have been great, but we can research and hopefully find energy. Here's one, so we can attach. We've got a Shrine as well, and a replacement Shrine for when they play that Thunder Mountain that is in their hand onto the field. But now we can at least set ourselves up and try to get a knockout on one of these 2 attackers. So the Pikachu Zekrom on the bench now on 90 damage, the Pikachu Zekrom in the active on 180. It's now not impossible that we go on to win this game. Let's quickly walk through it. So their Shrine, well, the Shrine will be replaced this turn. Obviously that is going to happen because they have that Thunder Mountain in hand, or at least I think they do. That will leave the active on 60, and the benched PIKA still on 90. We have the Shrine, so that'll tick over and hit this benched, or the active PIKA. So that'll take it down to 50, so if we can get the Max Phantom off, that would be great. And the benched PIKA has 90 HP on it, so 150 damage. If we can find a second Galarian Zigzagoon with the quick ball that's in our hand, we should be able to get a knockout on that, presuming that it comes into the active. So we actually have a lot going for us here. Pretty much the only card now that we need to find is Boss. If we find Boss, we win the game next turn, and we've got plenty of opportunities to do it. Volkner from our opponent suggests that we're not going to lose our hand this turn, going for Electro Power here, so maybe our opponent just going for the full blitz with Electro Power for trying to try and get the knockout here. That's pretty strong, but if they do attack with the benched one or the Raichu, it's not going to really matter. We still need to find ourselves one boss's orders to win this game. There's an acceleration. They might choose to actually retreat and attack with the benched PIKA here to do a whole bunch of damage, half hit that Dragapult V as well. If they do that, they'll actually take 20 from the Psychic Energy, the Horror Psychic Energy, which will mean we don't even need the Zigzagoon. It'll just be ready for a knockout. But no, they're going into the Raichu here, so it's a pretty smart play from our opponent. They're going to energy switch one of their energy off of their PIKA with 180 and then Tandem Shock. Now, we are in a really, really strong spot here. We've got Acro Bike plus Stellar Wish plus a potential Dedenne to try and find ourselves Boss and Zigzagoon. So I'm feeling really, really good here, going from seeing that Mallow and Lana earlier to potentially winning the game here if we can find all the pieces. Going for the Quick Ball here. This is a bit of a gamble. I grabbed the Dedenne here going, okay, I'm just going to maximize my outs to this one boss. I need to get boss. It's the most important card in this position. If our opponent doesn't lose the game this turn, then we could have ourselves a chance, but, you know, Acro Bike into the boss seems fine. I'll just attach the energy. We'll boss into that benched PIKA here. I do still need to find the Zigzagoon now. It's one of those unfortunate things. Now I do need to find it, but it's super, super likely with a Jirachi and a Dedenne. We pick up the Zigzagoon, we'll put 10 damage onto the active. That's all we need to do. The Shrine will take care of the rest. Let's do one last little count here. There's 100 on the active, 180 on the bench. So if we hit into this, it'll be on 230. We put 50 on the bench PIKA that'll go to 230. And then the Shrine will take care of the rest. So how about that? We managed to beat PIKA after they Mallow and Lana'd. Very, very impressive. Dragapult is capable of winning from anywhere. You just got to give it the chance. You just got to give it the chance to win. It can definitely do it. Nothing more satisfying, by the way, than taking all 6 prizes in a turn. So into game 2, and we've managed to steal that first one, even though we went second, even though our opponent played Mallow and Lana, we had enough to get there. Now, we've won the coin flip, and our opponent has chosen to go second. That's actually fantastic news for us. It means that we get ourselves an opportunity to set up ready to take a knockout. We've got a perfect start here. We've got Jirachi in the active. No Dragapult V just yet, but there is Acro Bike and the Stellar Wish, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable. We top deck into the Dragapult, which is even better, and then we can attach this Horror Energy. We can probably Acro Bike and Stellar Wish as well. No need really to Acro Bike here. I'm going to grab the Marnie just in case something goes horribly wrong. And then just pass the turn. We've got the attack next turn, which is fantastic. If they do get the full blitz, then it doesn't matter. If they don't, then we can just scoop up the Jirachi and attack with the Dragapult VMAX. But we all know that Marnie is a massive card to play against Dragapult. If you can play it in the first turn, you're usually screwing up a perfect setup from them. So, luckily for us that PIKA doesn't usually play Marnie as its first supporter. They tend to go for Guzmahala. So, we should be okay. Our opponent tag calling here, they could be searching for that Guzmahala right now. If they do get it, then they'll be one step closer to getting that turn 1 full blitz. But at the moment, again, they won't be hitting into the Dragapult, so we could again potentially force our opponent to play that 7 prize game. So there's the attachment to the benched PIKA. Draw an extra couple of cards and then pass. So nothing else from our opponent. We find a Horror Psychic Energy off of the top, which is fantastic. We can Stellar Wish here, grab ourselves an extra card. Look at that, we've even found the Escape Board, so we don't even need to waste those Scoop Up Nets. Probably not even worth playing the Acro Bike here, just Marnie. We have everything that we need right now. And we actually find ourselves another Dragapult V here if we want it. So we are in a super, super good spot. I think Max Phantom is probably the smartest thing to do here. 130 and 50. And now our opponent is really far behind. Even if they do manage to get the full blitz here, they'll take 40 damage with their PIKA, which will put it within range of a knockout if we can find those extra little ticks like Shrine of Punishment and Zigzagoon. So we are in a really, really strong spot. Our opponent now well behind the 8 ball. And grabbing the Tapu Koko here. They did actually get themselves into a pretty good hand by the looks of it. They've got Quick Ball for Koko. They've got Tag Call so they can find Raichu and Mallow and Lana. So even though they did get Marnie, they are going to be able to get the full blitz off. And they'll remove a lot of the damage that's on the field. But we saw it last time. It doesn't necessarily win the game for PIKA. And especially now that they're... Did he just forget the Tapu Koko? I think he just forgot to Tapu Koko. Now we definitely win this game. And, oh, yikes. A big concession there from our opponent. It's a rough way to go. So victory in the 4th round. I did actually chat to my opponent at the end of that game. That concession was 100% because he just forgot to Tapu Koko. Now, we saw it. It happens. Sometimes you just overlook those cards thinking that you have everything going for you already. He played the Mallow and Lana being like, I can get an extra energy into the discard here. Forgot, of course, that he needed it on the PIKA. If you've watched my round 3 video, then you know that these mistakes can happen. I throw away a perfectly good hand against PIKA just to go on to lose the game. So it's not the end of the world, but unfortunately for our opponent, that is them out of the tournament. I progressed through until round 5 of losers bracket. Unfortunately, there are going to be a lot more games to play. I'll probably need to win 7 or 8 to get into the finals, let alone win it. So we'll have to see how we go. At some point I'm going to lose, but we'll just have to wait and see how far along that is. Hopefully you've enjoyed this gameplay. That first game was really, really good, even if the second one wasn't necessarily a good representation of the matchup. If you do like this content and you want to see more, then please consider subscribing. Click the button just over the Sableye head over here. Over on this side are a couple of videos that YouTube thinks you'll like, as well as a playlist for the rest of my Players' Cup competition. You can watch all of the rounds. They're all up there. We'll be doing the rest of them, the last couple, I think rounds 5 and or whatever comes afterwards. I can't remember exactly how many games I go on to win here, but that's okay. We'll see. I'm spoiling it at the end because no one watches at the end anyway. It doesn't matter. I'll leave it at that. We're going to end just there. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.